Alright, I'm about halfway back to the farmland. Just pulling out of a rest stop right now. I stopped about halfway out. So we gotta merge back into traffic here. There we go. And I just hit the highway that heads right into it actually turns into Main Street of my hometown. I didn't film the first half of the ride because once you leave the Emerald Necklace, the Northeast Ohio area, there's really nothing to see for miles. Like, there's just nothing out there. It's just all countryside, farms, mostly wilderness, and just highway. That's it. I really didn't think that it was worth filming that whole damn way and just wasting all that time, you know, talking. I was actually spending most of the time trying to get my head right for what I'm about to drive into. It's been a long time since I've been back here, and it'll probably be a long time before I'm back here again, aside from coming back on Sunday just to drop my brother off after he spends a weekend with me. There are a lot of reasons that I left this area. One primary reason I left the area, the one thing that really set me off and put me out in the middle of nowhere, to the point where I didn't want to come back. And I can't honestly say that I miss my family, because the place that I'm going to, the place that I grew up, it's so rural and so out of the way. It's like the land that time forgot. Everybody lives the same day over and over and over again their entire lives. And some people are okay with that. Some people like that kind of quiet and, you know how country life is. They just like that routine where it's just the same thing. There's really no surprises. And even the drama that happens is just the same old recycled shit with new characters in it every once in a while. So I can't say that I miss my family, because I haven't missed anything. There's no new developments for them to tell me about, aside from somebody died. And that's the only time my mom calls me, is if somebody died. She'll call me and let me know that they passed away, and that's about the end of the conversation. I just went one direction and they stayed right where they were at. I think my family understands why I left, and if anybody, you know, were to tell you guys a story about why I left and what happened to me before heading up and settling into the Emerald Forest, you know, you guys would probably understand too. It was a loss, to be honest. It was, you know, nothing really more than that. I've kind of settled in on that. I lost somebody, and it messed me up, and I just left. I couldn't stay down here. So, yeah, that's just the vague story of it. You know, I've lost a lot of people in my life. I lost my daughter. I haven't told that story yet. I lost my daughter about a week and a half after her first birthday. But that was 15 years ago. Her name is Piper. And that was the first real sense of loss that I had. After I lost my daughter, my life went just crazy. Not all bad crazy, just out of control. Like, you didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen from one moment to the next. It was just this roller coaster. And I was all over the country. After I lost my daughter, I traveled from Ohio to Texas. I traveled up to and stayed in Wisconsin. I just was like a pinball all over the fucking countryside. And I wasn't settling anywhere for very long. And that lasted for years. I was lucky if I stayed in the same spot for a month before I was moving on again. And that was just the chaos that came out of losing my daughter. settle down a little bit. A couple years go by, everything's nice and calm, and I kind of level out. I was still living the same kind of lifestyle that I was living when I was bouncing all over the place, and I was still doing the same things that I'd always done. But life was more stable, I guess I could say. And then, I mean, just things just sort of flatlined, really. There was no major events. For a couple of years there was no major events in my life. It was kind of routine. I mean, I was having fun. I was having adventures and things like that. But, you know, nothing spectacular. It was just, you know, making it through life and kind of enjoying it. And then, you know, I got all wrapped up in a girl. And I guess every great story starts with a girl. But yeah, I got all wrapped up in a girl. And I went further, like emotionally further with that girl than I've ever went with anybody in my life. It was, my relationship with her was just selfless. Like, I would give this girl anything. I would do anything for her. And the girl could just do no wrong, even whenever she was doing some serious shit wrong. I didn't care. I just wanted to be with her, and I was obsessed with it. It was like a drug addiction being with her. And then right before Christmas, you know, I lost her in a bad way. And you know, I guess I had sort of the PTSD from losing my daughter, and then I lost my girl on top of it, and I was like, okay, that's enough. Things got, psychologically, things were getting pretty rough for me, and I knew that for my health and for the well-being of everybody around me, I just had to leave. So that's what I did. I just packed up my truck and left. And I didn't look back. I got up into the Emerald Forest. I got settled in up there. That was a while before I came up with the Huntsman idea. Got settled in up in Northeast Ohio. Got my job. Worked my way up through the job to about as high as I was wanting to go, because I'm really not the boss type. I'm just not politically correct enough to be a boss. A team lead or something like that, no problem. Floor manager, no problem. But I can't do the corporate environment like my wife does. Got settled in at the job, got married, happily married. Me and that girl, my wife, we've been through some shit together, and we've been through shit together for a long damn time now. My wife and I were actually friends for a few years before anything romantic happened with us. She's seen me go through some shit. And then, you know, I had losses, she had losses, and we just kind of got to the point where we're like, fuck it, this is not the kind of life we want to live. So we got together, and we had nothing when we started out, but we had an idea that the teamwork, her and I together, we could make something out of it, and we did. We've had our ups and downs over the years, but we're pretty well off now. I mean, we don't really want for anything. Even this truck here, whenever it came around time for us to get a new vehicle, you know, it was a situation where we could just go out and throw the cash down on the table, say this is what we got, and we drove off with the truck in less than an hour. It was nothing more complicated than that. I mean, there's the wad of cash, here's the truck, and that's it. We have that kind of life, and I'm proud of it, because, you know, it's blood, sweat, and tears to get that kind of life. We really busted our asses, and we've been through hell to get where we're at now. But during all of that time, I wasn't even thinking about coming back to this place. This place is just I do have friends back here, and of course all my family is back here. Now a lot of my siblings have all moved off. I have a sister who moved down to Texas, but she just recently moved back. I have another sister, lives up on the lake, up on Marblehead Island. She's wanting me to come over there and visit. She's actually wanting me to come over there. They got a boat. They go out to the islands there on the Great Lakes all the time and have a good time out there. They want me to come over so we can use the boat to go film an episode of Huntsman. So we might be doing that this next summer. My baby sister, she lives in Indiana, but she owns 2 houses. She owns a house in Indiana, and she owns one in our hometown. The one that's in our hometown, she sort of rents out. You know, she lives in Indiana, travels back and forth all the damn time, which is about a 100-mile drive from where we're at. And then my mom is still living in the same damn spot she was living at when I was in elementary school. And that's where we're heading at today. Everybody's supposed to be out there all gathered up at the old homestead, waiting to see me for the first time in almost 5 years. Got a couple other stops I'm gonna make. My best friend lives there in town. I'm gonna stop and see her. My best friend Tracy, her and I go all the way back to high school. And her and I have been through some crazy shit. Her and I have seen some crazy shit together. But Tracy is the keeper of all of my journals when I was younger. I had, I don't know, 15, 20 journals, you know, about 200-300 pages each, and I would handwrite journals all the time. And I had this whole library of these journals that I wrote. And then one day, she was over visiting, and we was going through some of my stuff. I think I was getting ready to move or something like that. We was going through some of my stuff, and I was going to throw those journals out. And she grabbed a hold of them and took them home with her. And she put them in a cedar chest up in her attic. And so all the journals that I wrote in high school, all the way through my early 20s, I think up until about maybe 24, 25 years old, she's got all of those journals. And I couldn't tell you a single fucking word that's written in any of them right now. And that's why I keep, you know, the Huntsman journal, why I handwrite stories about the Huntsman series and the adventures that I have while filming this series. Because years and years down the road, I'll have forgotten what's in those books. So I can read a book that I wrote, it's in my own damn handwriting, and not know what's going to happen next. That's just how that shit works. Yeah, so Tracy has all of my original journals, and she has a specific crystal that I'm wanting to get back from her. She's been holding on to this crystal for me for about 15 years. And I told her whenever I gave it to her, you know, that I was going to come back for it someday, that this crystal, I just had the feeling at the time that this crystal was going to be really important to the future. Some story that I would come up with in the future. Well, it just so happens as the sort of primordial version of the Huntsman series, whenever I was first exploring the Emerald Forest, I come across 4 different crystals while I was out there. Now, everybody knows about the, anybody who watches the channel knows about the rose quartz deposit that's in my area. That thing came from the last ice age. Well, I happened to uncover this ice age crystal deposit while I was out there hiking and exploring it, and it was my first time in the area. I had no idea about the landscape or the kind of shit I was going to run into. So I find, you know, these crystals and I start collecting them. Well, there was specific crystals that I was finding that just stood out from all the others. Either the clarity was better, or they were a different type of crystal or a different kind of element. So I sort of put those the rarest pieces from all of everything in my treasure room, really, into this little collection. Turns out I got 4 of them right now. And as I was sitting there thinking, you know, how am I gonna tell the story of how I got these things and where they came from and what they represent to me personally as far as the Huntsman story goes. vision of the crystal that Tracy's been holding for the better part of 2 decades now popped into my head. And I got this sort of muse feeling that I should travel down here and retrieve that crystal from her from, you know, when I was younger, and put it with the collection of the new crystals that I got from the Emerald Forest. So I have this one crystal that's connected to my past, and the other crystals are connected to different aspects of me being in the forest. They represent different things. So the crystal that I'm actually going down here to get from Tracy is about yay big. It's about just smaller than a fist, just smaller than a fist, really. Dark purple crystal, and I called it Dark Heart whenever I first got it, because I first got it. I got it right before my daughter was born. I found it in this little shop there in my hometown. They just had it laying in a box on the floor, like a junk box. And I happened to spot it. I asked them how much they wanted for it, and they told me $3. So I gave them $3 for this crystal, and I took it home, and I sort of set it aside and didn't really think about it. And it stayed there for a couple of years. Then my daughter was born. You know, her first birthday rolls around. She's in a walker. And, you know, she's moving about the house pretty good, and she always went for this damn crystal that I had sitting on the shelf, that purple crystal. She loved playing with it, and I had a hell of a time getting her to not chew on it while she was teething. And then, you know, after I lost Piper, I was going through the house, and I was in a bad state. I lost Piper and her mom the same day, at the same time. And I was bad, guys. I was suicidal bad. I was trying to OD at the time. Punching holes in the walls. Nothing mattered to me. It was probably the darkest period of my life. We're just going to sum it up with that. Now, I ain't looking for sympathy, and I ain't saying I know all about depression and suicide or any of that shit. I went through some shit. I walked out of the shit. And that's all we're going to say about that part. But anyway, as I was going through the aftermath of that little breakdown, I found that crystal that Piper used to play with all the damn time, and I would find myself just holding it, and I would squeeze that thing so damn tight that it would cut into my hand, and I'm pretty sure I bled on the thing more than 5 or 6 times because I would just squeeze it so hard, you know, having flashbacks of Piper and her mother and what happened to them. So, you know, time goes on. I bump into Tracy. Her and I had been separated for a year or 2. So we're doing all our catching up. And I just had a whim to give her this damn crystal. So I put it in this green bag, tied it all up, told her to hold on to it for me until I came back for it. Well, here I am, almost 20 years later, making a 4-hour drive to come back for it. So I'm going to try to meet up with her today whenever I get into town. Then I'm going to swing out to the house, visit with my family, and see my little brother. And then we'll be heading back up north. Got a long drive back home. There's a long drive down here. And right now, I've gone from the Emerald Forest to nothing but dead plains. It's just, I can see everywhere around me. I can see 30 miles ahead. There's just nothing out there. So I know I'm close to home. Man, I can't stand this place. And I, like, driving into it, I just have this feeling of wanting to get out of it. Like, I'm not even in my home county yet. I'm just approaching the goddamn thing, and I already have the gut instinct to just fucking turn around and go home. That's just the effect this place has on me. It's just a dark, bad place. I swear that this whole area is cursed because the people that live here, they are the most depressed, fateless. It's like nobody here has a destiny. If you live here, your future is a dash on your tombstone between the day you were born and the day you died, and that's all it's going to be. There's nothing else for you. If you stay in a place like this, you lose your destiny. I mean, you just can't do anything here. And anybody who's, you know, lived here can tell you just how hard it is to get the fuck up back out of here. Like, I've moved away from home before and came back, and it took me years to break away from this fucking place. Once it grabs a hold of you, man, it just don't want to let go. It just sucks the fucking life right out of you. And every time you get a plan to get ahead or get out or get a future for yourself, this place and the people in it will come up with a way to fuck that up for you. It's just the way the place operates, and it's been that way since the dawn of fucking time. There's all kinds of stories. I mean, it goes back to Native American legends around here where, you know, the Native Americans put a curse on the area because of how the whites came in and took it. I mean, it goes back that far, and you kind of believe it because, goddamn, man, there's just nothing here but darkness, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Coming up on the top of this overpass here, you'll get to see pretty much the gist of everything that's around here. A whole hell of a lot of nothing. And I'm still about 30 miles away from my hometown. But it's just like this all the way through. And it's a rainy ass fucking day driving through here. Matches the mood, matches the landscape, matches the goddamn dark heart crystal that I'm going down to get. Out there, guys. No past, no future, just nothing. Miles outside of my hometown now. Got in touch with my family and let them know where I was at. Made the last rest stop right there. Is the last one between here and I don't know, 40, 50 miles away. You guys are kind of seeing what I'm seeing. The weather is matching the mood. And matching this whole storyline. I mean, it is dreary and rainy and depressing. Clouds are hanging low. It really fits with the vision I had in my head about coming back to this place after being gone for so long. The weather's the first impression. I'll tell you a little bit about the area. Actually going to be skipping town, well, the main town in the county. It ain't nothing to see anyway, it's only a mile long, and we're going to head straight out to the farm, so that's where we're heading at now. Go deer hunting in that woods down there. Not where I got my first one, but not too far from it either. I've hunted just about every woods around here. This is the area that we hunted whenever I was a kid. This side of the highway, not that side of the highway. That side of the highway is a whole different set of farmers over there, and getting their permission to hunt was always a pain in the ass. They're sort of like this little clique that hunts on that side of the highway and this little clique that hunts on that side of the highway, and there's really some Hatfield and McCoy shit going on between those two hunting parties, because if we had a buck over here and he got hit, we shot a buck over here and it ran across the highway onto their property, chances are they weren't going to let us go over there and get it. They'd go get it themselves and claim it as their own. And of course they'd probably say the same thing about us, because hell yeah, we do it too. Tit for tat. Got a lot of limestone around here, limestone quarries. Other than that, just flat land. See, these are the biggest fucking hills they have around here, and that's just because we're in the river valley right now. Those hills ain't nothing compared to the Emerald Forest. Well, this is where I grew up, guys. In all of its fucking glory. So my mom had to work today. I know she's not going to be at home. My stepdad will be there. My baby sister's there. My brother's obviously there. We're only about a mile away from the old homestead now, so we'll be there in a few minutes. We'll get to see everybody's reaction. Get a kick out of this. This here, what I just turned off on here, this is the road to my mom's house. Now this goes down about 2 miles, and then we take a little left and we're right there at the farm. But this is kind of like, from the highway, this is like the driveway to my mom's house. See all that? I mean, I know the camera's at a funny angle because of the guard there, but yeah, this was my backyard as a kid. I took my last deer in that woods right over there, across the way there, before I moved out of the area. That was the last deer I shot. It was a textbook heart shot. Took the top of its heart off. That woods there is where I saw the ghost of the deer after I shot her, in the pink mist, the blood mist that came up. That's word to God, that mist was in the same exact shape as that deer. Never been able to explain it, and never been able to get that vision right in my head where it didn't sort of cause this sort of nervous, you've got to be out of your mind reaction. But that woods right there is where I saw the ghost of that damn deer, and I swear on my baby girl's life, that's exactly what fucking happened. Almost to nowhere. Oh fuck. Thought I drove away from that. Wanna make some round?
That reminds me of that thing. Yep.
Are you taking fucking selfies?
Trying to. I want to take them. I need for a minute. I was on top of the waterfall.
That's pretty cool. You had to come go.
I would love that, but I like.
Like we'll do. The spot that I found for the cam, I found on accident. Like I was it was last year about this time. I went up to this section and I was shed hunting. And I ran into another guy who was out there shed hunting, and he told me a little bit about the woods. And I was like, well, at first I was like, you know, I'm not going to stay in this section because him and his dad shed hunted for antler like every year, like it's a family tradition. They've been doing it since he was a little kid.
Alright.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to stay in this section because it's his and his dad's thing, you know. I'm not going to be hunting the same damn forest that they're hunting in.
Alright.
I just move on. There's plenty of woods, right? And so I went around and I did some other shit, and I went to the other side of the river and we started to Cottageville, and the series really started filming over there. I found a place over there to get morel mushrooms.
Nice.
And then I ended up back down there at that south section because I ran into a buck and I seen him going up the ridge up towards the south section, so I followed the buck, and then that's how I found the herd. And then I just started filming the herd and learning all this shit from them. Got the trail camera set up out there, and I brought them into the cam, and that's, you know, been a big thing for the channel. Is just getting trail cam footage so they can just see wildlife behaving the way that they behave when there's nobody around.
Right.
And the trail cam's been in the same spot now for about 3 months, so they're used to seeing the little LED light that lights up on it. It freaked them out at first, but now they just don't care. Because I kept it in the same spot. I usually put food or something out. I do have a salt lick out there right now. Well, whenever I put the salt lick out, there's a little creek that sets off to the east, and I figure they're going up there licking on that salt lick, and then they just want to go get water. So whenever because they get salt in their mouth now, so it's going to make them feel dehydrated, they're going to want to go to that creek. So whenever it comes to shed hunting, put the salt lick out, and then I know exactly where they're going to go after they get done licking on that salt lick. So I know the stretch of woods that will be best to look for the antler, because they come up, they lick on the salt, they go straight to the creek to get a drink of water. That section between there, that's where I'll be doing most of the shit.
Right.
I got 4 bucks in the area. I got 3 bucks that stay in the same herd, and I got 1 guy that just sort of roams around by himself. Sometimes he's with the others, but it's pretty rare. And it all the way from HB. HB is a 10 point. Then I got an 8 point, I think a 6 point, and the other little guy, he's only like a 4 point. His rack is so damn small, he has to be like a yearling. But I want all of them. If I can find all those racks, I'm gonna get them.
Saw deer out to the house the other day. I can't tell whether it was a doe or a buck, but it was freaking massive.
Yeah, when we get up, we have to go up past Hermit's Hollow, all the way up to the top of the ridge. Whenever we get up there, once we get inside the woods, we'll kind of be quiet, because the chances are we're going to run into the deer.
Okay.
I run into them every single time I come up here. There's only been 2 times in the past year where I went into this section and didn't run into the herd.
Gotcha.
And that's just because the coyotes came in and pushed them off to the west a little bit. If I would have hooked over to the west, maybe, you know, a half a mile or something like that, I probably would have ran into it. Overcast and cold today, they're going to be bedded down, probably in a thicket patch or up in the hemlock grove, and they'll come right up. But I've been in the section so much, I don't know how they're going to act with 2 of us, but I've been in the section so much that if they see me, they just don't care.
Nice. I remember seeing, I think it was on Facebook or something, you had got a real close-up shot with deer, and you said you'd done it by feeding them apples.
Yeah. Yeah, I can put the apples in front of the cam, and what I do is I take one apple and I sort of make apple juice on the tree, right, that the cam's mounted on, and they come up here to lick that apple off, the applesauce off, and so they're right up on the camera whenever they do that. It's good to get the up-close shots, and, you know, you hear them breathing on the camera and shit like that, or they'll fog up the lens with their breath. But usually whenever you're doing a trail cam setup, you don't want them that close, because if you get them that close, you really can't make out the details of their body type or how big the rack is. You want them about 5-10 feet away, and then up to 20 yards away, and you can really make it what you're looking at. But I like bringing them in right up to the camera, like I want them to sit on the fingers.
Right. Down there, the creek you're talking about?
No, that is just a little tributary. It actually flows through this whole area, and then it goes up underneath the road and flows into the main river.
Ah, gotcha.
Where that meets at the main river, the mouth of this river and that one, there's an island down there. I ain't been able to get onto the island for a while because it's been all rainy and snow melt and stuff like that. It's got the river up,
Right.
so I couldn't cross it safe. But that island's where I find the crystals,
Nice.
the smaller crystals, and then about a mile away from there, going further up towards that high ridge over there, is where I find the great big crystals.
Nice.
The crystals, that hill up there, the crystals are actually coming out of that hill. The river's just washing them down.
Right.
But there's a creek that runs through there that cut that hill all the way down. All the way down, you know.
Right.
This. But that creek runs right through here, and then it runs right through over there.
Okay.
It's a good fishing hole back there. Where they meet, the water just kind of swirls around, and it just drills all that sediment out, so it's a deep pool there.
Right.
Get catfish, trout, sometimes you get walleye out there. So.
Nice.
Especially in the spring and the fall.
Kind of crazy how the mountain there just kind of shoots up at a 90-degree angle.
Oh yeah, it's insane. The landscape is insane.
I definitely wouldn't want to try to climb that.
You know.
You know, and probably wouldn't have a problem with it, but my arms were hard, but
walking in this area up right in here. Looks like they're crossing right here. There. There's the herd. Looks like the does. They were bedded down in that little thicket patch. One of them was over here probably getting a drink out of the creek. I don't know, that might have been the boys. I don't know. There's 3 bucks all stayed there. I knew they'd be close. Usually the does flag more than the boys do. Now I'm walking right here. Let's see if I can make out what it is. Hold on a sec. Wish that second one would walk out. See that color change on her belly? How she goes from light to dark like that? She's a pretty one. Curious. Eventful morning out in the woods, guys. Run into 2 herds already. Well, we ran into the herd and then we ran into 2 strays. But still ain't seen the bucks yet. Not running into them by the time we get up here to the top of the woods. See, they're going to circle around, come right up behind us, and then they'll come right back up here where they were. They always run in a big circle like that. We're just coming up here this morning to check out the trail cam footage for the past week and see how well the salt lick did. We're almost to the campsite now. I already run into a shit ton of deer on the way up here, but I ain't seen no sign of the coyotes yet, so we'll see if they popped up on the trail cam. And then my brother and I might sit down here somewhere and see if we can call up the coyotes. Don't move. It's probably a coyote. Well, I tried to get a spotted owl on film there, but as soon as it landed in a tree, all of the birds around here just started going fucking nuts. And spooked it off before I could get it focused in. Let's see how the trail cam did this week. We got a little action around the salt lick. The salt lick is still there in pretty good shape. Don't look like they were tearing it up too much, but I do have some action in the leaves. does are probably gonna head up into that thicket patch up there. And this thing is getting so cold that my hand's starting to burn. I left the gloves in the truck. Boom. No, I got it. It's hard to operate the camera whenever you're wearing gloves, so I'm constantly taking them on and off anyway. But this thing is getting so cold that it's just starting to burn holding it. Oh, there's my boy. He come running up out of the thicket patch. There's a pretty good distance ahead. He always looks back at me with his head sort of tilted to the side like that. He's just kind of watching us right now. So when we first came into the woods, we was heading back towards the trail cam spot. That's not HB. That's the other one. We were sort of heading back to the trail cam spot. We ran into 3 does in one gathering and a couple other does in another. And checked the trail cam area out. I was walking back up and this guy just came up out of a thicket patch that's just up ahead, and chances are he's not by himself. That's the middle buck. So we got HB, he's the largest, that's the middle one, and we should have our 2-pointer up there somewhere too. We'll see what happens when we get a little closer to the thicket patch. Not out here really focusing on deer today. So it seems like the boys are staying in one group and all of the does are staying in another. It's odd to see them separated like that. The boys are up here laying, all 3 of them laying together in the thicket patch right here. They headed off just to the northeast of us, so trying to see if we can get a little bit closer to them. It's HB and it's just our regular 3 bucks. Actually got them standing right in front of me. So I don't know if we can bring them up or not. They're moving pretty good. They're going to try to get downwind of us. Let's see what we can do here. Well, the boys are flighty today. It's the first time that I've seen them that flighty. They wouldn't let me get too close to them at all. And I don't know if it's because my brother's with me today or if something else has been going on out here this past week that just got them up in arms. But they didn't let me get too close this time. It might be a problem with the coyotes. It's a cold ass day out here. And my brother is just way different from me whenever it comes to traveling to the woods. He's very, very noisy. He sort of drags his feet on the ground and you can hear him coming from a mile away. And I've been trying to teach him how to walk through the woods quiet where they can't hear him, but it ain't working out. It's something that he's conscious of now, so maybe he'll work on it. Can't do too much out here today. My brother was in a car accident not too far back and his shoulder is shredded. He's got wires and pins and screws and everything else in his shoulder. He probably shouldn't be out here with me now, but he wanted to come out. So we came out just on an easy hike. I was just going to go up and check out the trail cam footage. Of course, having our stereotypical adventure with the herd. running around in the woods, but they're just so flighty today. It's got me a little worried that those coyotes are harassing the shit out of them or something, and just got them up moving all the damn time. But this is not working out like we planned, so we're going to be heading back up towards the front of this section. We'll kind of regroup up there a little bit, talk about how this herd's behaving. I think it's pressure from the coyotes, and there might be something else going on, I don't know. They've just never been this flighty, especially the boys. They usually don't flag like that. They're staying within a couple hundred yards. See the whole herd? There's like 5 or 6 of them. 3 boys. They probably met up with the does over there, but they're all flagging today. Usually they don't flag like that and run off. They'll just let me film them. That's just different behavior. I don't know what's going on with them today. Maybe it's the weather. Weather's getting to me too. It's fucking cold out here. We had a little spit of snow / freezing rain back there a little bit ago. Nothing major. So, like I said, my brother and I are going to get back up here so we regroup and figure out what we want to do today while we're out and about. Like I said, he's got an injury, so it's got to be a little bit lighter than what I normally do. You ain't going to see him dropping down a cliff anytime soon until he gets that shoulder healed up. But we'll get up here and see what we can come up with. Man, that was disappointing. I thought we were closer to the Bucks.
It's cool to see him, though.
I just never had them that flighty. Something going on back there. I bet these damn coyotes chasing them around.
Yeah.
I always want to put the truck in neutral, just cruise down these hills. Like, you don't need it. Yeah, sure.
Definitely way different from back home. A lot more peaceful, too.
Yeah. It's a different world. And what's odd is back home, like, the only thing that happens is somebody pulls some bullshit drama, you know? But that's what happens. And up here, everything is anti-drama, but literally everything happens to you every day is completely different, and you're doing something different, you're seeing something different. You don't have time for drama because all of the good stuff gets in the way.
Right.
That's what's really messed up about it, is like there's so much good things and so many like amazing things up here that you just don't have time for the bad. And whenever it's just like, you know, Cora, she's anti-drama and she's a bitch about it. She don't care if you hate her. Just don't bring your bullshit here because it don't belong here. It really don't. Well, shit, there's me in the truck. I don't want to ride this stuff. Whenever I first said the trail came out, is this section was here, which is connected to ours, where we were just at. It's just, this is the other end of the woods. And I was filming a couple of bucks, just little guys, and a few does up in this section of woods. And then I just ended up going back down that way, and that's where I found HB at. I just stuck with him. That ridge right there, I've seen bucks, or I've seen deer roaming that ridge. They'll just run around it in a circle like that hill's not even there.
Huh?
They just haul ass up these hills like it's nothing. It's crazy. And for me, I'm just like walking up slowly. And, God dang, I could kill you.
It gives you a little bit of respect for the strength deer have.
Especially if you're doing all they do is work out.
Right.
I mean, going to get a drink of water is a